Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. I wanted to do something a little bit different in this video. It's something I've never done before, and I realized that it might be controversial because it involves a lot of opinions here. But I wanted to make this video essentially to close out 2023 and do an overview of what I think was some of the best figures, some of the worst figures, and then at the end of the video present some really interesting statistics from 2023, just personal statistics of figures bought, money spent, that kind of stuff. But I wanted to start us off here with a couple of mainline figures. So these two are my picks for the best and the worst Studio Series releases, mainline Studio Series releases of 2023. Keep in mind, I'm only pulling from figures that I personally bought, that I have in my collection. There may be others out there that I did not purchase or didn't get a chance to get my hands on that may be better or worse than these, but these two for me in my collection for 2023, this is the best in my opinion as far as Studio Series, and this is the worst. So just spend a little bit of time here talking about that, not a lot. I want to get through, I've got a lot to get through in this video and I want to get through it quickly. Talking about the best here, so this is a Leader Class Studio Series figure. He's really well done. Great articulation. Looks good in both of his modes. Just a load of accessories. Lots of fun to play with. And not very much that I can complain about as far as that goes, other than the price of just mainline figures nowadays anyway. But yes, so this is the Studio Series Optimus Primal. Looks phenomenal, fun to play with, fun to transform, just all around really fun figure. Lots and lots of enjoyment here. I have his the chain that you can use to connect his swords. I have them it up in kind of a scorpion pose, which I've discovered is my favorite. But yeah, you've got great weapon storage. You've got all kinds of really good stuff that you can do with this guy. So in my opinion, best Studio Series release of 2023, regardless of the class, Leader, Voyager, Deluxe. Okay, so moving on to the worst, in my opinion, this is the Studio Series Mirage. This is a Deluxe class figure, and that's fine. It doesn't matter that it's a Deluxe class. What matters is this thing really felt like it was half-baked, phoned in. I'm not impressed. The car mode, of course, it's an officially licensed Porsche, so it's going to look good, except it's incredibly panely. You can check out my full review on Mirage and you can see that in more detail. But I'm really disappointed in the articulation. I'm disappointed in the bot mode. He just doesn't look all that great in bot mode. You can't do much with his legs. You've got one accessory right there. Huge backpack, a lot of stuff going on. Everything collides with everything else back here. So you've got limited posability, and he's just overall kind of lame. So not a big fan of this guy. Again, keep in mind, this is only for the figures that I have in my collection. This is for 2023. So Studio Series 2023 best is Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beast. Worst is the Deluxe Class Mirage. Moving on to our next category, we're going to talk about the Studio Series 86 line. Obviously, these are the figures that were inspired by that 1986 animated Transformers movie. So here are my candidates, or my picks for best and worst of 2023. Starting over here on the left with Ultra Magnus. This is the Leader Class or Commander Class Ultra Magnus. He is bar none the best, maybe one of the best Ultra Magnuses we've gotten, period. And I'm including the MP Ultra Magnus in that as well. For what you get for the price, the ease of transformation, the fun factor, all that stuff, he's definitely up there for contention. This is just one of the best mainline figures, period, that I saw come out in 2023. He's just highly articulated. He's big. He's chunky. He just gets the job done in every way. I definitely prefer him in his bot mode over his vehicle mode, but his vehicle mode passes very well. Also, plenty of accessories, all kinds of good stuff you can do. He's got light piping up here. Just looks good all the way around. You know, he doesn't have that big butt flap like the Masterpiece does. He does have a butt flap, but it's not an oversized butt flap. And yeah, he just comes together looking really good. So very, very little to complain about here as far as Ultra Magnus goes. He's plenty stable, just an incredible shelf presence. Can't say enough good things about this figure. Now, on the flip side, this is what I consider to be the worst figure, Studio Series 86 mainline of 2023, and that is the Studio Series 86 Brawn. Now, this is one of those situations where this is not a bad figure at all. He's a deluxe class. You don't expect a lot out of him. He does an adequate job, but the pickings were so slim in 2023 for Studio Series 86 figures. Somebody had to be at the bottom when you racked them and stacked them, and unfortunately in this case, it was Brawn. He is perfectly adequate. He's just not exciting. He's got a couple of aesthetic things that bug me, and he's just, you know, he just doesn't excite me. He's got that big ugly backpack right there, so wish they could have done something a little bit better. He's got weird little feet. Looks like he's wearing parachute pants. Just weird. So no, he is not an awful figure by any means, but when you have to pick the best and you have to pick the worst, again, this is everything that's in my collection, everything that I purchased in 2023. Brawn comes at the bottom of the list for the Studio Series 86 figures. Moving on to our next category, we're going to be talking about Transformers Legacy. On the left is, bar none, my favorite Transformers Legacy figure of 2023. That is Tarn. This figure is just absolutely outstanding with a wonderful shelf presence. Over here on the right, we have my least favorite. This is the Legacy Hotshot. He's just really underwhelming and quite the opposite of what we have with Tarn. So there you have it. Just going to keep it brief. Best and worst of 2023 for Legacy. Our next category is the officially licensed Transformers Masterpiece line, and I only purchased 2 Masterpiece figures officially licensed in the year of 2023, so this is going to be a really easy one for me. The winner on the left is Masterpiece Skyfire Jetfire, and on the right is Masterpiece Trailbreaker. Both of these figures are very, very well done. I have no issues with either one, but one had to be a winner, one had to be a loser, and Skyfire is going to take that winner's trophy simply because he's huge, he's fun, he's so accurate, he comes with plenty of accessories, and Trailbreaker is fine in his own right as well, just not quite as exciting as Skyfire. So there you have it. While we're on the subject of Masterpiece figures, let's go ahead and talk about this guy. This is the Masterpiece movie series Bone Crusher. So he takes both awards. He takes the best and the worst of 2023 because, as far as I'm concerned, this was the only Masterpiece movie series figure that I purchased in 2023, so he gets both of them. But if I had to tell you, this guy is definitely worth picking up. He's a really cool figure. Love playing with him. The transformation, once you get used to it, isn't that bad. He looks phenomenal in both of his modes. He's big, he's hefty, he absolutely looks like something that could do some damage and crush some bones. So yeah, overall he's a good figure. He just happens to take both awards in this category since he's the only Masterpiece movie series figure that I purchased in 2023. Wow, what a transition. We go from absolutely huge Masterpiece level robots to our next category, which is the Legend Scale, the third-party Legend Scaled figures. So these are those smaller figures. And these are your best and worst for 2023, at least in my opinion. And we're going to start over here on the left. This is the New Age Toys Freer. This is their take, it may be Fryer, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, F-R-Y-R. This is their take on a Legend Scaled Dinobot Swoop. And over here, this is the Magic Square take on a Legend Scaled Windcharger. So both of these figures are nice. There are just certain things that put Swoop at the top of the list. I bought a lot of Legend Scale figures in 2023. That's a category that I'm really starting to accelerate my collection in, and he is by far my favorite just simply because he feels so good in the hand. He looks so good in both of his modes. He's steady, he's highly articulated, and just an overall wonderful figure. Transformation is not awful on this guy. It looks so good in both of his modes, and he comes with a ton of effects. I don't have them on him right now, but he does have these guns up here, and then you've got these flame effects that you can use as well. So just absolutely loaded for bear for the price. This guy over here, the Windcharger, Magic Square does a fine job of making figures as well, but he's just, yeah, he feels a little cheap. I don't know any other way to describe it. It's not just the feel of the plastic, it's just the overall feel of everything on this guy. I do not at all like the articulation on these shoulders. You can't bring them forward at all in any type of butterfly effect, and he just doesn't excite me. He's not a bad figure, he just doesn't excite me, so I don't know how else to say it. Again, I have yet to find a truly bad figure in the Legend Scale from Magic Square, New Age, any of these companies. They're all really great. So sometimes it's hard to pick the least favorite of the bunch, if you will, and that just happens to be bestowed upon Windcharger this time. But yeah, Definitely a figure worth picking up. Actually, all those Dinobots so far, what we've gotten are figures worth picking up. I know Magic Square is getting ready to come out with their own Dinobot set, so I'm going to be really interested to see how those guys come off as well. But yeah, best and worst 2023 in my collection. Best is Freer, worst is the Magic Square Windcharger. Our next category is what I call the Masterpiece Scaled Mini-Bots. So if you remember in G1, you had all those tiny Autobots and Decepticons that you could pick up, you know, like your Cliff Jumper, your Bumblebee, the cassettes, that kind of stuff, where they were just the mini bots. You know, you could put them in your pocket and take them anywhere you want to go. Obviously, they've grown up a little bit as they've become Masterpiece scale, but both of these guys are still technically mini bots in that G1 world. So although they are larger, they're being classified, at least by me, as such. So let's go ahead and talk about it real quick, and we're going to start over here on the left with my favorite Masterpiece Mini-Bot of 2023, what I think is the best. This is the Fans Toys Variator. So this is their take on that G1 Gears, and this guy, he is just great. He is just so much fun. Everything all around, the overall look in both of his modes, the paint, he comes with a few accessories. Of course, you can see right here, he's got his little welding torch right there. Looks really cool. This is one of those figures I really regret not having done a review yet on him, because he is just too much fun. He's relatively easy to transform, looks good in both of his modes, highly articulated. Overall quality feels really good on this guy. I don't have anything at all really to complain about. He's super stable. He's just a blast. So really, really cool figure. Definitely one I would recommend picking up. Now on the other side of things, this is the Fans Toys Warthog. This is their take on Power Glide. I love Power Glide, and to a certain extent, I love this figure. I think he looks good in both of his modes. I think they've absolutely captured that cartoon similarity or resemblance in his bot mode. He's got a couple cool gimmicks. You can open his chest up. He's got his gun, but he's plagued by being overcomplicated. This is an incredibly engineered figure, but he's really complex, really involved as far as his transformation goes. You've got a lot going on down here in these legs. And then you also have the ability over time, as I've gotten to know the figure a little bit better, you just get really loose knees on this guy, and there's not much that you can do about it. And you can see there's just a lot going on here as far as panel folding and everything else. He has some stability issues because of those knees, so just something to keep in mind. I think he's a bit of a miss for Fans Toys. He looks great, even from the back. I mean, he compacts up really well. Turns into an absolutely huge plane. Be sure to check out my review on that. But yeah, if I had to pick, this is the weakest Masterpiece Mini-Bot that we got in 2023, whereas Variator over here, he's just a bundle of fun. I can't say enough good things about this guy. Moving on to our next category, this is what I'm going to call the third-party Masterpiece normal size bots category. So not mini bots, not anything like a Cliff Jumper or a Bumblebee or anything like that. We're talking about what would be considered normal size bots. So on the left over here, we have, in my opinion, the best third-party normal bot that came out, Masterpiece scale normal bot that came out in 2023, at least that I added to my collection. This is the Mastermind Creations Navigant. So this guy is based on G1 Streetwise, the Protectobot Streetwise, and a real quick cameo for anybody who picked up this hot mess. This is the XTransbots Fuzz. You absolutely know what I'm talking about when I tell you that this guy is just head and shoulders above that XTransbots release. So this guy is fun. He's all built in, meaning he has all of his, like his combiner mode, his fist and that kind of stuff is built in to his body. Transformation is fun, relatively easy, looks good in both of his modes, relatively affordable, just all kinds of good things to say about this figure. You can see all the way around that he just comes together, looks really good. Not a lot of kibble hanging out anywhere, so really good figure. Now on the other end of things, this is the Fans Toys Recorder. This is their take on a Masterpiece scale Autobot Blaster. He's not a bad figure. I have to preface by telling you that a lot of my judgment here is coming from the price. I had a really hard time paying $200 US for this figure. It just feels underwhelming. He turns into a radio. Great. You can't drive him around. You can't pretend he's a car. You can't do any of that kind of stuff. He did come with a cassette bot. And that little guy is pretty cool on his own. I guess he's a really cool accessory. You can fit him and a couple of his buddies up here in the chest cavity, so there are some things that you can do there. And he looks really good. He's articulated, he's nice and heavy, he's bulky, but my biggest complaint was paying the money that I did for the figure that I got. I just don't think there's a lot of wow factor or a lot of excitement in this figure. So, best of 2023, Navigant. Worst of 2023, Fans Toys Recorder. All right, peeps, thanks for sticking around this long. We're almost done, just a little bit more to get through. Our next category is going to be the combiners, best and worst of 2023, just all across the board. Third-party, mainline, whatever. And we're going to take a look over here on the left. This guy is the Magic Square Lord of War. This is their take on that G1 Bruticus. And he looks amazing. He's got good articulation. He combines fairly well. I mean, you've got what, 5 different figures here. He slims up. Oh, hit the other guy we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, he looks really good all the way around. This is another figure. I really regret not getting a review out any sooner for this guy, but he is just amazing. Now, the individual figures, they can be really finicky as far as transformation goes. There's a lot of panel folding and everything, that kind of stuff that goes on with him. But once you get them there, they look good in their bot modes, they look good in their vehicle modes, and they look phenomenal in that combiner mode. Bruticus just looks absolutely ready to destroy the world. So very, very cool. Really like this guy. And over here on the right, this is the mainline Volcanicus. So this is that combiner from all those core class Dinobots. So you've got 6 Dinobots that combine to make this guy, including your bonus Scar over here, who wasn't one of the original quintet, if you will. But yeah, so you've got 6 Dinobots that make this figure. Yeah, they combine and they make a figure. That's really about it. He's not super exciting. He's not that much fun to play with. Combining is pretty easy. The individual figures are what they are. They're not, some are better than others, but they're not great, not in any fashion. And he just kind of turns into a big convoluted mess right there. Now, yes, I recognize that we're talking about a huge price difference here. You know, this guy is, you know, what, 5 times more expensive as far as that goes compared to this guy, but this still feels pretty weak to me. And taking money out of it, I'm picking him all day long over Volcanicus. And last but certainly not least, we have the Titan class category. So these are the 2 Titans that I picked up in the year 2023. And although they are both good, we have to pick a winner, we have to pick a loser. So over here on the left is our winner. This is the best Titan of 2023. This is the Decepticon Nemesis. So she is wonderful. Just the overall aesthetic, her ship mode, everything looks great. Not to mention the added bonus that when my son did the unboxing for Nemesis, he misgendered her, and a few of you let us know about it, and I did not have misgendering a giant robot on my 2023 bingo card, so thank you for that. But yeah, she is really cool. I love both of her modes. Pretty good articulation. She comes with really cool accessories. You've got these little jets that fly out right here on her arms. Well, it's not even on camera, so why am I doing it? But yeah, she's got cool little accessories, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do with her. She has a great shelf presence. And then over here you have the Guardian Robot. So this is obviously that take on Omega Supreme. He's one of the Guardian Robots of Cybertron. He's really cool in his own right as well. All kinds of fun stuff you can do. I was able to get a review done for him, so check that out if you want. But yeah, he's definitely a bot worth picking up, especially if you can't find yourself an Omega Supreme, which was the situation I found myself in. So he's a fine substitute. But yeah, between the 2, she's definitely my favorite. They're both fine figures, but if I had to choose, it's going to be this one right here. One last thing before we get into the numbers for the year, I just wanted to do a quick honorable mention for a figure that's still readily available, at least in my area, and for one that people might be sleeping on. Armada Megatron, this leader class Armada Megatron from the Legacy series, he's worth picking up. He's actually really fun. He was a lot better than I had anticipated. Not perfect by any means, but definitely a fun figure. If you've got the opportunity to grab him, I think you're going to enjoy it. He's just really cool in both of his modes. So I'm going to leave him in the background while I bring in my chicken scratches for all of my numbers here, and we're going to talk about that. So In the grand scheme of things, we're going to talk about all these numbers for 2023, the number of figures that I purchased, how much they all were, that kind of stuff. So this was my master list here of, and I'm using a dog calendar, don't you like it? But I'm using a master list here of what I had just gone over. So we're just going to start, so I've got these figures that I picked up, and then this was all from retail, just grabbing them in stores. So I had all these figures that I picked up, and then bringing it on down, I've got showzstore.com. So these are the figures that I picked up and the prices that I paid. And then coming up here to tfsource.com, these are the figures that I picked up and the amount that I paid. And then here we go. So for that grand total, this is, I know this isn't fancy, these are my chicken scratches, but here we go. For 2023, I spent $4,099. I purchased 74 total figures and was able to make 43 videos. So you can see that I'm definitely not keeping up with the number of figures that I'm buying. But yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. So for those of you who want to get into collecting Transformers, especially if you get into that third-party world, yeah, buyer beware on so many levels there. And, some people may say that I have a problem, but yeah, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys, and I'll especially leave that up to my wife. I guess it's better than some other habits. So with all that being said, that's going to wrap up the 2023 year in review. For the record, I am recording this in February of 2024. It took me a little bit to get this out. I do have other things going on in my life. I don't always get to make as many videos as I want to. But with that, I hope you guys got some good information. I hope you found some entertainment. I hope some of you were as shocked as I was when I saw that and added it all up. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Till we see you guys in the next video. Take care.